Ooh, 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 instruments of destruction, tombs of fire ablaze. It's a fire interruption. Existence fades away. Ooh, 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 ooh. Anyway, hello again, Internet. It is I, StarScream, the ruler of the galaxy, and I've come back again. I've got more questions from the Internet, and I'm going to read through them and answer your questions, and hopefully come to some sense of reality and all that. I'm in a pretty good mood today. So my first question comes from Wade Philpott, and he likes to ask me questions. That's good. He asked me a question on Facebook. His question, which he misspelt, he said, did T-Rexes actually have feathers of not? I assume he meant or not. So my answer, Wade, no. I have personally seen the T-Rex myself, and they did not have feathers. No feathers. They had tentacles. And sometimes they would shoot rainbows out of their mouths. And, you know, I think what happened to the T-Rexes, they got hit by a giant rock from outer space, and everything went dark. And I wrote here, I think that a well-known in advance rock from outer space just might shake things up a bit on Earth, and it might be good for people. I mean, not so good for us if we didn't know about the rock. It's just like you're sitting there, nothing's really changing, and all of a sudden, bam, everything everything lights up. No, I think we need to know in advance. And we need to all start talking about the rock from outer space. We need to say, it's coming, everybody. It's almost here. So I hope that answers your question. Second question comes from James Cox. That's C-O-X. And James on Facebook, he says, Blitzwing. Have you ever thought of a fourth alt mode? So again, this is the Blitzwing thing. And what I keep thinking is that people want to point out the fallibility of the new Bumblebee movie. And, you know, I try not to be negative. I really, I try not to be a negative person. I really don't. Or a negative bot. And I wrote here, if you really want to bring up the Bumblebee movie, then I think I should point out that it will lick donkey butt. It will be bad. I know this. I don't need to watch the movie and then complain later. I know it will be bad. I know. There's a million reasons to suspect fallibility in Hollywood these days. And I also wrote, as for a multi-changer bots, I seem to remember when I had those toys when I was a kid that they looked less and less like their alt modes were supposed to look like things that they were supposed to look like the more alt modes you added on. Like the best example is, of course, Six Night, who is like, what the heck is it? And I wanted to add in here that the movie The Last Night, Transformers The Last Night, when that came out, I actually thought it was going to have Six Night in it. Or he was also called Six Shot. And it should tell you at least how little attention I give the Michael Bay movies and almost anything coming from Hasbro. And I wrote they're all crapola movies, and then I said that I had said that in what I thought was going to happen in the Last Night movie was that finally there was going to be a confusing Bay bot that would look confusing for another reason than simply because of the incompetence of Michael Bay and his team. Although I give them a certain amount of credit for effort, their movies are crap, and I don't just blame Michael Bay. There's a lot of crap coming out of Hasbro, I mean, I didn't think that Armada was good. I didn't think that Cybertron was very good. I didn't think that Beast Wars was very good. I mean, you can sort of watch them, but uh, sometimes these stories lack meaning and message and value, and I thought I would bring up that I have storyboarded movies. I storyboarded Transformers, and I storyboarded Robotech, and I storyboarded Masters of the Universe, He-Man and She-Ra. And, if anyone would like to see a good movie happen, I'm the guy to talk to. This guy. This is the guy to talk to. Like that's going to happen. But, people work together, and they tried to make movies outside of the cage of Hollywood, the boxing in of media that forces you to watch whatever they put out. Anyway, I doubt that'll happen, but you want to see a good movie? You talk to me. So I have another question. Comes from Ryan McDevitt. That sounds like an old Irish name. Ryan on Facebook, he says, why don't people help each other anymore? It's a good question, Ryan. I'm going to read my answer. I said, there is a massive dehumanization scheme going around in our world, and a scheme it's on a blindly coordinated level amongst many people. It's basically, I wrote, people find it popular to ignore others and to leave others behind. And I said that we're conditioned to an online two-dimensional world, and that we're losing our four-dimensional skills, and which makes it, or will make it certainly, very hard on us when they shut down the internet. Any day now, they're going to shut down the internet. I'm not sure who's ready for that. There's certainly a lot of people who've already been shadow banned and fully banned from most of the main platforms, and they know what's coming. But they're going to hand all of our information over to China, and then Google and the big tech companies are going to basically turn the internet into some kind of a, well, they call it a social credit system, but I'd call it a new eugenics movement. I don't know who's ready for that, but anyway, what else did I write here? I said people used to make promises, and I made a couple of examples. People used to make promises, like the old sword crossing maneuvers of blood-sworn brothers at arms, and the other example I gave was that that will do guy from Kids in the Hall. Will do. I'm all torn up about it. Tell you what I'll do. Kids in the Hall rules. If anybody other than the Trailer Park Boys could have done a new Ghostbusters movie, it would have been Kids in the Hall. Anyway, I said here, another problem with the internet is that it popularizes certain figures and gives only the popular people on the internet the most attention. And the problem with that is that very quickly, the popular people on the internet, they find it impossible to deal with all of the mega onslaught of fans and the lingual diarrhea and the disfiguring of information. That if you're really popular on the internet, then you can't really deal with people. You look at someone who's popular on the internet, and chances are they're not answering questions from their fans. And then look at me. I'm open to anyone to ask me a question, and I only get 2 or 3 questions. Only 3 today. But that's okay. I've got time for 3, you know, that's good. Um, so, you know, what we really need in our world is that people need to learn how to work together on a new system. And it really seems possible, doesn't it? I mean, it really seems like we could pool our resources and we could change all the institutions and all the systems that are controlling us. We could somehow create a new system that works better. I don't know how, but I'd say people only have so much time. And since we don't know when those rocks from outer space are going to show up, and we don't know when they're going to shut down the internet. Oh, you humans, you puny earth creatures. You're worried about Decepticons? You have a lot more to worry about, let me tell you. Anyway, what else could I say? Well, I guess I'd say thank you to all those on the internet who asked me questions. And anybody who'd like to ask me more questions in the future, if you're not sick and tired of me already, go ahead and ask me some more questions or give me some suggestions, you know. Maybe you'd like me to review another crappy movie. Who knows? But I'm up for whatever you're up for, and I'll be glad to return again. So long.